Somewhere in your chart, one planet has its name on the lease. Astrologers call it your chart ruler, and where it sits explains things the rest of the wheel only hints at. Why two people with the same rising sign build completely different lives. Why one area of your life keeps pulling focus no matter what your horoscope says. Finding yours takes 2 steps and a table, and by tonight, you'll be able to read what it's doing. This is the Birth Chart Lab, where you learn to read your own chart one piece at a time. Today, what a chart ruler is, how your rising sign hands the job to one specific planet, and how that planet's sign and house color everything else on the wheel. Start with what you already have, your rising sign, the sign on your first house cusp from video 3. Every sign answers to a home planet. Mars owns Aries, the moon owns Cancer, and so on around the zodiac. Your chart ruler is simply the home planet of your rising sign. Rising in Taurus, your ruler is Venus. Rising in Capricorn, it's Saturn. The rising sign names the planet. The planet then runs the chart. The full table is doctrine, older than telescopes, and nothing you have to calculate. Mars rules Aries. Venus rules Taurus and Libra. Mercury rules Gemini and Virgo. The moon rules Cancer, and the sun rules Leo. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. Saturn rules Capricorn. 3 signs carry 2 answers. Scorpio belonged to Mars before Pluto was discovered, Aquarius to Saturn before Uranus, and Pisces to Jupiter before Neptune. Traditional astrologers keep the old rulers, and modern ones often take the new. Both readings work. Pick one, write it down, and stay with it because the payoff isn't the label. It's what the planet is doing in your chart. Why bother naming it? Because your rising sign only describes the front door. The style you lead with, the first read people get. The ruler is who runs the building behind that door. Its sign tells you how that planet operates. Its house tells you where it does its work. 2 people can share a rising sign, greet the world the same way, and still live nothing alike because their rulers sit in different places. Picture 2 Leo risings, a made-up pair. Leo rising means the sun rules both charts. One was born with the sun up in the 10th house, the career house, so behind the warm entrance, the whole operation points at work, reputation, being seen to build something. The other was born with the sun down in the 4th, and the same warm entrance opens onto a life arranged around home, family, and private ground. Same door. Different floor of the building. Multiply that across every sign and house pairing, and you can see why rising sign descriptions run out so fast. Now watch it on a real chart. Maya, the chart this series keeps returning to, has her ascendant at 9 degrees Aries. Aries hands the chart to Mars. Find Mars on her wheel, and it sits at 19 degrees Aquarius, in her 11th house, the house of friends, groups, and causes. So her chart ruler is Mars, working in Aquarius, working from the 11th. Read that back, and the chart snaps into focus. Aries rising, so she comes across direct, quick to start, first through the door. But her Mars is in Aquarius, so the push behind that directness is independent and idea-led, more strategist than soldier. And it operates from the 11th house, so it spends itself on groups, networks, and shared projects. She starts things like an Aries and finishes them among people. Read only her rising sign and you'd catch the style but miss the destination. One more layer once you have the placement. Aspects, the angle lines from video 8, touch your ruler like any planet. But here the effect spreads further because a planet leaning on your chart ruler leans on everything the ruler runs. Maya's Mars, for example, sits about 5 degrees from her Saturn, both in Aquarius. That conjunction puts a governor on the ruler, steady, structural, patient, and through the ruler, it steadies the whole chart. So here's your move tonight. Pull up your chart and read the sign on your first house cusp. Look up its ruler on the table. Then find that planet on your wheel and note two things: its sign and its house. Say it as one sentence. My chart runs on this planet, in this style, in this part of my life. That sentence will explain patterns your sun sign never touched. One refinement while you're there. If your ruler sits in the sign it owns, say a Cancer rising with the moon in Cancer, it works with nothing lost in translation. And if it sits in your first house, the door and the manager are the same, and people meet the real you straight away. If naming your chart ruler just connected a few dots, tap the like button so this finds the next person who's only ever known their big three. One line to keep beside all of this. Your ruler shows how your drive is wired and where it tends to go. It doesn't script your future, and it doesn't outvote your choices. Let the chart sharpen how you see yourself and leave the big decisions to you. The short version. Your rising sign names one planet as your chart ruler. That planet sign shows how you move. Its house shows where your effort pools, and between them, they explain why people who share your rising sign don't share your life. Maya's chart in this video comes from Mystical Manak. Free link in the description. There's plenty of your chart still to read. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.